Thank you. The House will come to order. The pledge today will be by Philip Alvarez, the Boy Scouts of America, Denver Area Council, Denver, Colorado, and please stand as we present the colors.
Color Guard attention, audience attention. Color Guard, forward march. Color Guard, halt. Please prepare to post the colors. Please post the flag of the United States of America. Scout salute. Please post the flag of the colorful state of Colorado. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. About face. Color Guard, forward march.
Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you so much to the Boy Scouts for presenting the colors and leading us in the pledge this morning. Mr. Randall, please call the roll.
Representatives Arndt, Becker J, Baker K, Beckman, Representative Beckman, Representative Beckman excused. Benavides.
And Mr. Randall, just give me a moment. Members, please take your seats. It's time to take the roll. We got a lot of folks missing or running late, so if you could let folks know we're roll calling, that'd be great. Continue. Thank you.
Benavides. Bridges. Buck. Buckner. Carver. Catlin. Coleman. Covarrubias. Danielson. Escar. Everett. Everett.
Excused.
Everett is running late.
Exum.
And,
Foot. Garnett.
I'm sorry, what did you say? Yes, for,
Garnett.
Excused.
Janal. Gray. Hamner. Hanson. Harrod.
Tharp is replacing.
Harrod. Representative Beckman is present.
Excused.
Putin. Humphrey. Jackson. Kennedy. Kraft Tharp. Landgraf. Landgraf.
Excused.
Lawrence. Lawrence.
Excused.
Lee. Leonard. Lewis. Liston. Lontine. Lundeen. Representative Everett is present. McKean. McLaughlin. Melton. Michelson Janae. Neville. Pabon. Representative Lawrence is present. Pabon. Representative Harrod is present.
Excused.
Pedersen. Rankin. Representative Landgraf is present. Rankin. Thank you. Ransom. Ryer. Roberts. Oh, yep. Rosenthal. Oh. Sane. Salazar. Sandridge. Sias. Representative Benavidez is present. Singer. Thurlow. Valdez. Van Winkle. Weissman. Weissman.
Excused.
Willett. Williams. Wilson. Winter. Wist. Young. Madam Speaker.
Excused.
Okay. I have Garnett, Pabon, Weissman, and the Speaker.
Yes.
Members with 60 present, 4 excused, and 1 vacancy. A quorum is present. Representative Hooton.
Good morning, Garner. I missed that. That's all right.
Hope you had a good weekend.
Representative Hooton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the reading of the Journal of Friday, March 2nd, 2018 be dispensed with and approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
You have heard the motion before us to approve the journal as corrected by the Chief Clerk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. No. Hey. Motion clearly passes. The journal is adopted. Announcements and introductions. Representative Lundeen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. Members, thank you for the warm welcome that you gave to the Boy Scouts as they led us in our pledge this morning. I want to take a moment here and acknowledge who they are and ask that you continue to extend that welcome. Let me give you 12 points of interest. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. What would our community look like if, in fact, we lived by those 12 values? I'd say it'd be a pretty doggone good community. And that is the law upon which Scouting is built. So these young men, mostly, a few women, that are involved in Scouting, that is what they are striving to. It's a standard I think we should call to ourselves. Today is the Scouts State of the State report. You need to know that these folks here in the state of Colorado provided almost 300,000 hours of community service last year. The Eagle Scouts alone, that's the folks seeking the highest level of attainment in Scouting, provided 150,000 community service hours. I want to encourage you to honor this institution, honor the leadership of this institution, and the young men involved in this institution. Thank you, Boy Scouts, for who you are.
Representative Liston.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. Members, I just wanted to echo just briefly. I noticed that the two scouts, one was an Eagle Scout here, I didn't get his name, and one was a Life Scout. But I can tell you that that is quite an achievement, especially to be an Eagle Scout, but to be a Life Scout. I'm sure he's working on his Eagle. But thumbs up to the Scouts and to the Cub Scouts. God bless you all.
Representative Salazar. And Representative Herod.
Jeez, yeah, lower that a little bit, please. Who was standing over here? No, it wasn't Representative Wist or Representative Young. Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. Representative Herod and I wanted to welcome Padres and Jóvenes Unidos. They're right up here. Say hi, guys. Stand up. Stand up. Say hi. And also out in the gallery.
Padres fights for many. Oh, sorry.
I already recognized you. Go ahead,
Thank you.
Representative Herod.
Padres does so many things in our communities, but make sure that the students and parents' voices are heard, especially when it comes to education and ensuring that we all have access to a good quality education regardless of our zip code. So thank you guys for being here, and if you have a chance to talk to them while they're out in the lobby, definitely hear what they have to say.
Thank you.
Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. Before I make my announcement, I want to give you a reminder, colleagues. When I stood in this well Friday, I mentioned about the decorum and respect. And we've been having announcements, and not many of us were paying attention to the Boy Scouts, not many of us paying attention to our guests. We either clean it up or we don't, folks. It's up to us. My announcement is, if you think we need prayer, we got it tomorrow morning, 7:15 downstairs.
Representative McLaughlin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. Okay, attention. How's that? Thank you, Rep. Wilson, for paying attention. I would like to introduce my daughter who's here today visiting, Kate McLaughlin, and her friend Charlie, so please give them a round of applause over there. Thank you.
Representative Pedersen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. Members, on education, we pulled our bills. We are not meeting today, so we are not meeting Monday or Wednesday. Enjoy your week, because we're going to be doing a lot to make up for it next week.
Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. And I'm going to ask you to gavel so I can get the members' attention.
Hold on a second, Representative Melton.
All right.
Thank you, members. Please pay attention to the well for an announcement about upcoming plans.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So Tuesday are the precinct caucuses. So this is the schedule for Tuesday and Wednesday. So Tuesday, we will start on the floor at 9 a.m. as normal. We'll get through floor work. And then as of right now, HIE and JBC are the only two committees meeting upon adjournment. All other committees have been canceled for the day, so you can leave and get back to your districts for your precinct caucuses. Then on Wednesday, we will start floor work at 11 a.m. So floor work will begin at 11 on Wednesday. So basically, Tuesday afternoon off, late start on Wednesday. All right, good luck in your caucuses.
Thank you, Representative Melton. Are there further introductions and announcements? Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. Members, I have some students here from Lake County High School. Are you up there with the Padres Unidos? There they are, Lake County kids. I was just up in Leadville yesterday. It's nice to see you here. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, welcome, honored guests. It's great to have you in the chamber with us today. Seeing no further announcements and introductions. Folks, thanks for your patience. We're just getting ready to move into second readings.
So do we want to just move to proceed out of order? Move to proceed out of order for consideration of general orders.
Okay, folks, if I could have your attention, please. Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that we proceed out of order for consideration of general orders.
You've heard the motion. Seeing no objection.
Who's supposed to make the motion?
Representative Singer.
Singer. General.
Thank you, Representative Singer. You've heard the motion. Seeing no objections.
No, I'm through.
Representative Singer will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for reading a bill at length. Committee amendments will not be read unless requested, as they are printed and in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and not read unless requested. The bills will be laid over upon motion of the majority leader, and the coat rule is relaxed. All right. Oh. Representative, Madam Majority Leader.
I'm sorry. Just go to the first bill.
Oh, okay. All right. Technical difficulties, but we're back onto it. Please read the title of Senate Bill 103.
Senate Bill 103 by Senator Todd and Smallwood, also Representatives Kraft, Tharp, and Leonard, concerning the issuance of performance-based incentives for film production activities in the state.
Representative Kraft, Tharp, or Leonard.
I can move something if you want me to.
Representative Kraft, Tharp.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move House Bill 18103. There is no committee report.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 103? Seeing Representative Leonard.
Do you want us to say anything?
Only if you want to. So, Representative Leonard, we'll go with you first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a bill that it comes in the wake of an audit from the Office of Film, Television, and Media. They had a rather revealing audit, and this bill then takes into account a lot of the procedures that they weren't following. There were some incentives and payments that were made without having a clear enough accountability, and there were also some of their own criteria that wasn't followed. And so this bill takes about makes 6 or 7 statute changes in order to give them a very definable criteria in order to give away taxpayer money and pick winners and losers and have more corporate welfare. So the goal here is to be able to make sure they follow the rules that are in statute while they're giving away that money.
Representative Kraft, Tharp.
Thank you. So in addition to most of what Representative Leonard said, this bill clarifies what it means for a production company to be in state, that definition. It clarifies that the state and the production company needs to be in contract before incentives are given. It clarifies that if a production company does not meet the contractual obligations, then the state can go back and take that film incentive money back. So as Representative Leonard said, it clears up a lot of the concerns that the audit identified in the film incentives and puts tighter guardrails around that. So we ask for your support.
Any further discussion on Senate Bill 103? Seeing no further discussion, the motion is for the passage of Senate Bill 103. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. 103 passes.
We're not ready.
All right, Mr. Randall, please read the title to Senate Bill 20.
Senate Bill 20 by Senator Garcia, also Representative Vescar, concerning mental health care professionals who are permitted to perform a regular AccuDetox.
Representative Vescar.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 20.
To the bill.
Thank you, members. Senate Bill 20 is a very simple bill that it seeks to clean up the AccuDetox statute that we already have in place. AccuDetox is an ear acupuncture protocol developed by the National Association of Addiction Acupuncturists. What this actual tool, this procedure, helps with cravings for alcohol and drugs, nicotine, withdrawal symptoms, including from opioids, which is why this is so important. Everybody in this chamber knows that Colorado is in the midst of an opioid epidemic, and expanding the ability of who may provide this AccuDetox services in Colorado will only enhance our state's current capacity to treat individuals with addiction disorders. I'd ask for your support and vote yes on Senate Bill 20.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 20? Seeing none, all those in favor of Senate Bill 20 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. Senate Bill 20 passes. All right, Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 60.
Senate Bill 60 by Senator Corum, also Representative Hamner, concerning protective orders in criminal cases.
Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I move Senate Bill 60 and the report from the Judiciary Committee.
All right, to the Judiciary Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, there was a technical amendment that was placed on the bill in the Judiciary Committee clarifying the deadline for the wireless telephone service provider, and I ask for a yes vote on the committee report.
Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing no discussion, the question before the body is the adoption of the committee report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee report passes. To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Member, Senate Bill 60 is really an important piece of legislation that allows a judge to offer a protective order to victims of domestic violence, that it would include any potential harm to the victim's pet or cell phone. And I ask for your support of Senate Bill 60.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 60? Seeing none, the question before the body is the passage of Senate Bill 60. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Senate Bill 60 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 91.
Senate Bill 91 by Senator Martinez-Domenico, also Representative Thurlow, concerning modernizing terminology in the Colorado Revised Statutes related to behavioral health.
Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, members. I move Senate Bill 91. There is no committee report.
All right, to the bill, Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate Bill 91 is a statutory revision committee bill. It merely updates some language. If you recall, we passed Senate Bill 17242 last year, which totally tried to modernize the terminology and statute for mental illness. We missed a couple of them. There were some terms like mentally ill, drunkard, and addict that stayed in 242. So this merely makes the current law conform to what we did in 242 last year. It updates terminology to things like mental health disorder and eliminates terms like habitual drunkard, which were in the statutes before. I ask for an aye vote.
All right, thank you, Representative Thurlow. Any further discussion on Senate Bill 91? Seeing none, the question before the body is the passage of Senate Bill 91. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 91 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 92.
Senate Bill 92 by Senators Martinez-Domenico, also Representative Hooten, concerning updating statutory references to county departments of social services.
Representative Hooten.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move, is this a Senate? Yes, I move Senate Bill 92 on second reading.
All right, to the bill, Representative Hooten.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So Senate Bill 92 is a statutory revision committee bill and explains that in 1993, the General Assembly restructured the State Department of Human Services with the intent of referring to county departments as county departments of social services. However, in the years since, the terminology has become blurred, and now county departments of social services and county departments of human services exist, which presents a problem of clarity in statutes, specifically whether statutes that reference county departments of social services apply equally to county departments of human services. I'm sorry I didn't bring a diagram for that. The bill draft modernizes the outdated references, which now read county departments of human or social services.
All right, is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 92? Seeing no further discussion on Senate Bill 92, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Senate Bill 92 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title, Senate Bill 93.
Senate Bill 93 by Senator Moreno, also Representative Mark, concerning the repeal of obsolete provisions of the Colorado Medical Assistance Program related to the inactive home and community-based services waiver for persons living with AIDS.
Representative Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 93.
To the bill, Representative Art.
Thank you. More good work from the Statutory Revision Committee. This bill just removes the now obsolete home and community-based services waiver program for persons living with AIDS because it was moved underneath the elderly, blind, and disabled waiver, and has no effect on state or local revenue expenditures workload and has no fiscal impact. And I urge an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 93? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 93. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Senate Bill 93 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title to Senate Bill 94.
Senate Bill 94 by Senator Martinez-Domenico for Representative Hooten concerning the repeal of a duplicate definition section in Article 60 of Title 27 Colorado Revised Statutes.
Representative Hooten.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 94 on second reading.
To the bill, Representative Hooten.
Once again, another statutory revision committee bill. And this one explains that two bills were drafted during the 2017 legislative session. Each created a definition section in Article 60 of Title 27. Because they are duplicative, Ms. Ritter proposed, or OLLS, proposed repealing one section and keeping the other, a more comprehensive and national definition to clean up the statute, especially considering that the change would have no substantive effect on the statute.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 94? Seeing no further discussion, and our general thanks to the folks at OLLS, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Senate Bill 94 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 96.
Senate Bill 96 by Senator Martinez-Domenico, also Representative Thurlow, concerning modernizing statutory provisions that refer to terms related to mental retardation.
Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 96, and there is no committee report.
To the bill, Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate Bill 96 is another good statutory revision committee bill. It merely updates the language in statute concerning mental illness and words like mentally retarded and mental retardation, and replaces it with intellectual and developmental disability. We had some really good testimony on this bill from a young man named Connor Long, who talked about how words do matter, and the words we use matter and make a difference to how people feel. So it was very moving, and I would urge you a yes vote on Senate Bill 96.
And I would urge any of you to speak with Mr. Long anytime. But the question for the body today is the passage of Senate Bill 96. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Senate Bill 96 passes. Mr. Randall, and it looks like Representative Thurlow is batting for the cycle today. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 164.
Senate Bill 164 by Senator Moreno, also Representative Thurlow, concerning the repeal of reporting requirements for certain unfunded programs in the Department of Human Services until such time as funding is received.
Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 164. There is no committee report.
To the bill, Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate Bill 64 is another statutory revision committee report. Human Services brought to our attention that there are several programs that were authorized many years ago but have not been funded for many years. So the programs just lay dormant, nothing happens to them. There's also a report connected with those programs. So what Senate Bill 164 does is it deletes the report because there's nothing to report on, and it even provides that if the program comes back, the report will return with it. I urge an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 164? Seeing none, the question before the body is the passage of Senate Bill 164. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. I think that passes. Senate Bill 164 passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1172 till March 8th.
Seeing no objection, House Bill 1172 will be laid over. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over Senate Bill 126 till March 13th.
Seeing no objection, once again, Senate Bill 126 will also be laid over. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1151.
House Bill 1151 by Representatives Art and Callan, House Senator Crowder, concerning the authorization of deficit irrigation pilot projects approved by the Colorado Water Conservation Board.
Representative Arndt.
Thank you very much. I move House Bill 1151 and the committee report.
All right, to the committee report, Representative Arndt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So in the House Ag Committee, we took this bill and since it's a pilot project and deficit irrigation is quantifying it and understanding how the water moves through with a deficit irrigation and preserving the HCU through a pilot project, our philosophy was that even though it's a permissive bill, that no division should have it if they don't really want it. And divisions 2 and 3 want to try this, and so does the Upper Gunnison. And so the amendment narrowed this bill down to divisions 2 and 3 in the Upper Gunnison just for the pilot project, and we are I vote.
Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Representative Catlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a pleasure to serve with you.
Same here.
Well, this bill will let the state of Colorado start to see if there's an opportunity for deficit irrigation. Deficit irrigation is just simply not using some water during a period of time during the year and being able to continue to grow a crop. This could be a part of the water plan for the state of Colorado. It's mentioned in the water plan, but we have not studied it. This bill allows people that want to try it in the Arkansas Basin and in the San Luis Valley Basin and Upper Gunnison allow them to attempt to do this, and by setting the rules and regulations for it. I would recommend an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Representative Arndt? Nope. Okay. Seeing no further discussion on the committee report, the question before the body is the passage of the Agriculture Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Committee report passes. To the bill, Representative Arndt.
Thank you very much. I think Representative Catlin summarized the bill in a very efficient and accurate manner, and I urge an aye vote on the bill.
Any further discussion on the bill? Seeing no further discussion, the question before the body is the passage of House Bill 1151. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. House Bill 1151 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1199.
House Bill 1199 by Representative Catlin, I'll send a quorum concerning a process for the Groundwater Commission to use for approving aquifer storage and recovery plans in connection therewith, requiring that the Groundwater Commission promulgate rules accompanying its implementation of the process.
Have you go. This is your bill.
All right. Representative McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1199 on second reading.
And is there a committee report as well?
Yes, we move the committee report with the amendments.
All right. Let's to the committee report. Representative Catlin.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a simple amendment. All we did was to any aquifer storage or recovery plans shall not be used as a vehicle for avoiding limitation on existing wells, including change of well location. No plan will be approved which includes existing wells without independent verification of compliance regarding those wells and all rules governing the wells.
Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the question before the body is passage of the committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The committee report passes. To the bill, Representative Catlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a good bill. It allows the state of Colorado to start making the rules as to how you can store water in existing aquifers and recover that water so that the eastern slope particularly will be able to have some storage in this basin on the east side of the Rocky Mountains. I would recommend an aye vote.
Any further discussion on House Bill 1199? Seeing no further discussion, the question before the body is passage of House Bill 1199. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no.
Thank
House
you.
Bill 1199 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1236 be referred to the Committee on Appropriations.
Seeing no objection, House Bill 1236 will be referred back to the Committee on Appropriations. Mr. Randall, please read the title to House Bill 1238.
House Bill 1238 by Representatives Jackson and Catlin, I'll send a marble concerning continuation of wild and urban interference training advisory board in connection therewith, implementing the recommendations of 2017 Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1238 on second reading in the Agriculture Committee report.
Is there a committee report on this one, Representative Jackson? There is no committee report, so we'll go straight to the bill if that's all right, Representative Jackson.
Go ahead.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is just a sunset of the wildland urban interface training, and so I'm going to try and get your attention and tell you what everybody calls it, woo-wee.
Woo-wee.
So back in 2008, there was this pilot
put together this task force. They did what they were supposed to do. They haven't met in 7 years. So Dora is recommending that the legislation which formed the WOO-WE Advisory Board be allowed to sunset.
Any further discussion on House Bill 1238? Representative Catlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would recommend an aye vote. It takes something out of the statutes that's not being used. It's a good time to say yes.
All right, the question before the body is the passage of House Bill 1238. All those in favor signify by saying woo-wee.
Woo-wee.
All those opposed say no. House Bill 1238 passes.
Thank you.
Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 69.
Senate Bill 69 by Senators Holbert and Zenzinger, also Representative Garnett and Becker J, concerning enforcement of statewide degree transfer agreements.
Representative Becker.
Brought out the wrong bill. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 69 in the Education Committee report.
To the committee report, Representative Becker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee in committee, all we did was add an amendment that made one of our colleges comfortable with how this bill works with transfers. Ask for an aye vote.
Any further discussion, Representative Garnett?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Representative Becker. And that amendment just cleared up that no existing contracts would be impacted by this bill, and I would urge an aye vote.
Any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. The committee report is adopted. To the bill, Representative, Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I urge an aye vote on Senate Bill 69 when it comes to making sure that all credits transfer and that we're making higher education as affordable as possible for all Coloradans. This bill sets us on the right track, and I would again urge your support.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the question before the body is passage of Senate Bill 69. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Senate Bill 69 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 101.
Senate Bill 101 by Senators Holbert and Todd, also Representatives Hamner and Van Winkle, concerning student admission to Colorado State University Global Campus.
All right, Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I move Senate Bill 101. There are no committee reports.
All right, to the bill, Representative Van Winkle.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a great bill for Colorado kids. It simply strikes a few lines from statute which currently prohibits our great Colorado kids under the age of 23 from the opportunity to apply to CSU Global. CSU Global is a world-renowned institution which has grown in the last 10 years from a simple dream into a well-respected and prestigious university with over 18,000 students. I urge a yes vote, please. Members, let's remove this artificial barrier to entry.
Any further discussion on Senate Bill 101? Seeing no further discussion, the question before the body is passage of Senate Bill 101. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor, no. Senate Bill 101 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1154.
House Bill 1154 by Representatives Hooten and Van Winkle, concerning consumer protections related to a solicitation to provide a copy of a public record for a fee.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1154 one day.
Seeing no objection, House Bill 1154 will be laid over one day. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 100.
Senate Bill 100 by Senator Neville, also Representatives Kraft-Tharp and Van Winkle, concerning disclosure of additional mandatory charges by motor vehicle rental companies.
Representative Kraft-Tharp.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Van Winkle and I are pleased to move Senate Bill 18100. There is no committee report.
Is there any, Representative Kraft-Tharp, would you like to discuss the bill? Or Representative Van Winkle? All right, Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a very good bill that helps protect consumers. Similar legislation has been passed in 40 states nationwide. It simply says if you're going to rent a car to someone, you must let them know what the cost of that car is going to be in full. You can't hide fees and taxes.
Any other further discussion on Senate Bill 100? Seeing no further discussion, the question before the body is passage of Senate Bill 100. All those in favor say aye.
Well done.
All opposed, no. Senate Bill 100 passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1231 till Friday, March 9th.
Seeing no objection, House Bill 1231 will be laid over until Friday, March 9th. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1099.
House Bill 1099 by Representatives Catlin and McLaughlin, House Senators Quorum, concerning criteria that the broadband deployment part is required to develop in regard to the incumbent and telecommunications providers exercise the right to implement a broadband deployment project to an unserved area of the state upon a non-incumbent provider's application to the broadband deployment board to implement proposed broadband deployment project in the unserved area.
Thank you, Mr. Randall, for that broadband reading of the title. Representative McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to move House Bill 1099 on second reading.
All right. Yeah, I know you'd like to, but do you? We'll assume yes.
We also move the committee report, please.
All right. To the, I don't believe there is no committee report, but we'll go straight to the bill. Who would like to talk about it first? Representative Catlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is an opportunity to level the playing field in the state of Colorado, where if a small broadband company wins the bid from a community to bring in broadband to that community at a specific price and a specific speed, then goes to the high-cost fund for the grants. The incumbent providers, in other words, the big boys, get an opportunity to step in the road and say, no, we will exercise our first right of refusal. That first right of refusal does not require them to match the speed or the price that was bid. This bill will make it a law that they have to match the speed and the cost that was bid by the small company. It should help rural Colorado, and it more than likely will help bigger cities too. I urge an aye vote.
Representative McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill makes it fair. It makes it fair for people without internet to have internet access. I also encourage an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1099? Seeing none, the question before the body is passage of House Bill 1099. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no.
All right.
House Bill 1099 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title to Senate Bill 46.
Senate Bill 46 by Senator Moreno, House Representatives Michael Shadane and Winter, concerning authorization to increase the minimum donation required to issue a certificate that qualifies a person to be issued a group special license plate.
Representative Winter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 46.
All right, to the bills, Representative Winter.
This bill, we have a lot of license plates in Colorado. Some of them have nonprofits associated with them. And the nonprofits take a donation when you decide to get that license plate. However, we set the amount of that donation in statute. And so should a nonprofit ever want to increase it for inflation, they can't do that without us coming back to the legislature. This bill allows a one-time increase of $10 should the nonprofit choose, and then moving forward allows nonprofits to increase it based on inflation. So this is going to save a lot of time for us and benefit our nonprofit community, and I encourage a yes vote.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 46? Seeing no further discussion, the question before the body is passage of Senate Bill 46. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Senate Bill 46 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1253.
House Bill 1253 by Representatives Lee and Herod, House Senator Gardner, concerning the implementation of recommendations of the Committee on Legal Services in connection with the legislative review of rules and state agencies.
Representative Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1253 and the Judiciary Committee report.
To the committee report, Representative. Oh, okay. To the committee report, Representative Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Judiciary Committee amended the bill to include two rules which were omitted in the original draft and were intended to be listed as excluded. So I ask for an aye vote on the Judiciary Committee report.
Representative Lee, I believe we have a little technical issue here. I believe it was the Legislative Services report, not the Judiciary report.
I amend my answer, Mr. Chair. This was the Legal Services Committee report that I gave, not Judiciary.
All right. Well, we all stand corrected. It's a Monday. All right. Is there any further discussion on the Legal Services Committee report? Seeing none, the question before the body is the adoption of the committee report from Legal Services. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The committee report is adopted. To the bill, Representative Herod.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill is the product of the work of the Legal Services Committee, and it will continue rules, and it will expire other rules that were not approved by the Legal Services Committee, and I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1253? Seeing none, the question before the body is the passage of House Bill 1253. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. House Bill 1253 passes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that the House rise and report.
You have heard the motion. House will rise and report.
The House come back to order. Mr. Randall, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, your committee whole big state report has those series following task bills when they second the reading of their following recommendations there on House Bill 1099, House Bill 1151, amended House Bill 1199 is business, House Bill 1238, House Bill 1253 is amended passed second reading order and goes to place count of third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 20, Senate Bill 46, Senate Bill 60 is amended, Senate Bill 69 is amended, Senate Bill 91, Senate Bill 92, Senate Bill 93, Senate Bill 94, Senate Bill 96, Senate Bill 100, Senate Bill 101, Senate Bill 103, Senate Bill 164 passed on reading order and revised, place count of third reading and final passage. House Bill 1154 laid over until March 6, 2018, retaining its place on the calendar. House Bill 1172 laid over until March 8, 2018, retaining its place on the calendar. House Bill 1231 laid over until March 9, 2018, retaining its place on the calendar. Senate Bill 126 laid over until March 13, 2018, retaining its place on the calendar. House Bill 1236 referred to the Committee on Appropriations.
Representative Seeger. All right, members, you have heard the motion. There are no amendments at the desk. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote on the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Is Kevin here? The speaker's vote button isn't here.
Can I just say verbally? So IT is on the way. We're having a couple of technical difficulties. But for the other people who have not voted yet, please vote. Representative Beckman, Representative Humphrey, Representative Leonard, Representative Thurlow. Can I just tell you, Mr. Randall,
I can't change it on.
I vote yes. All right. Please close the machine. With 61 yes votes, and I did say verbally that I voted yes, 2 no votes, 1 excused, and 1 vacant, the report of the committee of the whole is adopted. All right, so that takes us back, I believe, to third reading. All right, Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 9.
Senate Bill 9 by Senators Finberg and Priolas, Representatives Winter and Lawrence, concerning the right of consumers of electricity to interconnect energy storage systems for use on their property.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 9 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is a passage of Senate Bill 9 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Assistant Minority Leader West. Please close the machine. With 45 yes votes, 18 no votes, 1 excused, and 1 vacancy, Senate Bill 9 passes. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1078.
House Bill 1078 by Representatives Landgraf and Exum, all Senator Gardner, concerning court programs for defendants who have served in the armed forces.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1078 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1078 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Catlin, please close the machine. With 59 yes votes, 4 no votes, 1 excused, and 1 vacancy, House Bill 1078 is passed. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1042.
House Bill 1042 by Representatives Baker, Jane Janelle, Senator Scott Zenzier, concerning the creation of a program to authorize private providers to register commercial vehicles Class A personal property in connection with making and introducing an appropriation.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1193 on third reading and final passage.
Oh, are we on 1042?
1042, sorry.
Okay. All right, the motion before us is the passage of House Bill 1042 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Bless you. Representative Thurlow. Please close the machine. With 63 yes votes, 0 no votes, 1 excuse, and 1 vacancy, House Bill 1042 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1193.
House Bill 1193 by Representatives Wilson and McLaughlin, House Senator Scott and Zenzier, concerning the advanced placement incentives pilot program in connection with making an appropriation.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now I move House Bill 1193 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is the passage of House Bill 1193 on third reading and final passage. Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I apologize, colleagues. After 5.5 years of perfection, I messed up.
Wow.
On second readings, I was so excited that we were going to pass this bill, and we had an amendment, and I neglected to offer it. So I respectfully request the opportunity to share a third reading amendment for the first time in 5.5 years.
Bring it on. We're tough. We can do this.
I do.
Do we have a copy? And in the rules, I believe the terminology is not significant for a third reading amendment, or not substantial. It's not substantial. Can you speak to that as well, Representative Wilson? I did not know about this amendment.
What did she just say to the amendment? Yeah. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, do I have to have permission to do this first? Do we have to vote on permission
yes,
first?
you do. Yes, you do.
That's what I thought. But do I explain it before I get permission?
I think you can explain right now.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. We did a really good job in our bill. We talked about reporting and being accountable. We covered that. We forgot to mention who the report was to go to and where the dollars were going to be spent. Just a minor issue, and that's what this does. It's a report concerning the pilot program, and the information collected needs to go to the members of the Education Committee, the House of Representatives, the Senate, or any successor committees, and that will take care of where the report goes, because if not, we would have a report going nowhere.
Okay, and so that was the original intent of the legislation? So you're clarifying the original intent of the legislation?
Yes. Yes.
Representative McLaughlin.
Yes, it was. That was the intent, Madam Chair. Speaker. Sorry.
Okay, further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is whether or not we as a body will allow a third amendment reading. However, okay, I thought there was further discussion. I guess not. Ms. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote on whether or not you will grant permission to offer a third reading amendment. Representative Willett and Representative Arndt, please vote. Please close the machine.
You'll move to.
Yeah.
With 59 yes votes, 4 no votes, 1 excuse, and 1 vacancy, that motion passes. Representative McLaughlin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move Amendment L002.
L002 has been moved and properly displayed. Who would like to speak to the amendments? Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This amendment on page 2 after line 22 will give the dates when the report shall be prepared and submitted to the proper committees. And the report is concerning the pilot program so that we know if it's going to be successful or not. And this is an extension. The bill itself is an extension of the pilot program. And the information collected by the department is subject to section or subsection 5A. So we're not adding any new collections on it, just who we're going to have that reported to. And it will include the number and amount of financial incentives distributed to each participating school district through the pilot program. That was one of the issues that we talked about with all the folks that we met with, to make sure that people knew where those dollars were going and how they were being distributed. And that would about cover the amendment.
Further discussion on the amendment? Seeing no further discussion on the amendment, Mr. Randall, please open the machine. And members, please proceed to vote on L002, an amendment to House Bill 1193. Please close the machine. With 59 yes votes, 4 no votes, 1 excuse, and 1 vacancy, Amendment L002 is passed. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1193 on third reading and final passage. And as you consider that vote, please also welcome the international students from Snow Mountain Ranch and YMCA of the Rockies in Winter Park who made a special trip down.
Order. Madam Majority Leader, that will be a $1 fine. And I also think that we may want to make sure that that initial motion, I think it's HB 1193 as amended. So the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1193 as amended on third reading and final passage. And Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. And welcome to the Capitol. Please close the machine. With 59 yes votes, 4 no votes, 1 excuse, and 1 vacancy, House Bill 1193 is passed as amended. Co-sponsors. And I don't know, was $1 fine enough? I mean, she is the majority leader, right? Please, oh, actually, I want to co-sponsor this one. Any further co-sponsors? Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 36.
Senate Bill 36 by Senator Kagan, House Representative West, concerning the non-subsidy relocation laws related to regulation of tobacco sales to minors from Title 24 Colorado Revised Statute to new Title 44 as part of the organization for recodification of Title 12 in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 36 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 36 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. And I did see that the majority leader went above and beyond, and she paid $2. Representative McKean, please vote. Please close the machine. With 61 yes votes, 2 no votes, 1 excuse, and 1 vacancy, Senate Bill 36 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1237.
House Bill 1237, Representatives Kraft, Tharp, and Van Winkle, all Senator Neville, concerning the continuation of the requirements regarding the preparation of a cost-benefit analysis administered by the Department of Regulatory Agencies in connection with implementing the recommendations contained in the 2017 Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Assistant Majority Leader Gurnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1237 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1237 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 63 yes votes, 0 no votes, 1 excuse, and 1 vacancy, House Bill 1237 is passed. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. Please. Close the co-sponsor now or forever hold your peace. Wow, it just keeps going. All right, please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1239.
House Bill 1239 by Representatives Landgraf, House Senator Scott, concerning continuation of the sunset law of the Environmental Management System program in connection with implementing the recommendations of the Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies by allowing the program to repeal.
Assistant Majority Leader Gurnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1239 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1239 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Landgraf, please vote. Please close the machine. With 63 yes votes, 0 no votes, 1 excuse, and 1 vacancy, House Bill 1239 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1188.
House Bill 1188 by Representative Jackson, House Senator Hill, concerning authorization for the Colorado Department of Transportation to use location information from an electronic device.
Assistant Majority Leader Gurnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1188 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1188 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 38 yes votes, 25 no votes, 1 excuse, and 1 vacancy, House Bill 1188 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1093.
House Bill 1093 by Representative Martin, Senator Quorum, concerning the allowable uses of reclaimed domestic wastewater in connection therewith allowing reclaimed domestic wastewater to be used for food crops and making an appropriation.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1093 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1093 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Breyer, please vote. Please close the machine. With 58 yes votes, 5 no votes, and 1 excuse and 1 vacancy, House Bill 1093 is passed. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1098. Oh, Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over House Bill 1098 till Thursday, March 8th.
Seeing no objection, House Bill 1098 will be laid over. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1016.
House Bill 1016 by Representative Danielson and Senator Fields, concerning the creation of the CB's license plate to honor the CB's tradition and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1016 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1016 on third reading and final passage. Madam Speaker Pro Tem Danielson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, members. I think most of you know that the bill to honor the CBs today, this comes from United States Naval Construction Battalions, CBs. Their moniker is the Fighting CB, though, as you saw displayed on the second reading. I'm here today just to honor their incredible work in front of, during, and after combat, their can-do attitude, and their dedication to their duties. They say, we build, we fight. Part of why I wanted to come down today and talk to you really briefly is today happens to be the 76th anniversary of the founding of the CBs. And so it is with a lot of pride and a great deal of privilege that I stand before you today carrying this bill alongside my CB's veterans. So for their unique role and for all we've depended on them to do for so long, from Normandy and Okinawa to Iraq and Afghanistan, I urge an aye vote on House Bill 1016, honoring the service of CB's veterans. Thank you.
Ms. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 54 yes votes, 9 no votes, 1 excuse, and 1 vacancy, House Bill 1016 is passed. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. please close the machine. Ms. Randall, please read the title. Oh, Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over House Bill 1021 till March 8th.
All right, seeing no objection, House Bill 1021 will be laid over until March 8th. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar.
All right, seeing no objection, the balance of the calendar will be laid over. That takes us to announcements and introductions, and I do have one. Representative Kraft Tharp will replace Representative Pabon today only on the Finance Committee. Announcements and introductions. Madam Speaker Pro Tem Danielson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have some special guests here today. They were invited to observe the vote to pass the CB's license plate. And when I came down to thank you for helping me honor these veterans and the unique role that they've served in our nation's military and their dedicated service to the people of this country, I want a couple of people to just stand up and say and take a little bow. James R. Geringer, steelworker, second class, retired. Mr. Geringer is the person that brought the bill to me, and it's been such an honor to work alongside you. Thank you, sir. I also want to welcome Admiral Richard E. Young, Navy, retired. And I welcome you to the chamber, both of you, and also I just wanted to mention that Mr. Young, he is here representing the United Veterans Committee in their support of the bill and the support of the veterans all across the state. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service to our wonderful country. Further announcements or introductions. Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Asked to be excused Thursday and Friday. I have checked with the majority leader and the minority leader. Thank you.
Sounds interesting. Where are you headed? Representative Van Winkle is excused. Representative Breyer. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I asked to be excused from March 7th to March 9th. I have permission from the minority leader and the majority leader.
Where are you going? No, where are you going? Representative Williams?
To our nation's capital, Madam Speaker.
I see. Assistant Minority Leader West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I see a theme here. I request permission to be excused on Wednesday, March 7th. I will be in Houston, Texas, delivering a speech on drugs in the workplace. So I've received permission from the leadership to be excused.
You are excused. Representative Lewis.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to bring your attention to the drought in eastern Colorado. There was a fire in Washington County. 4,500 acres were charred of prairie fire. A few cattle were hurt, no houses, no people, but we need to be very weather aware. We're thankful, very thankful for our rural fire departments. I just wanted you to know. Washington County, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Lewis. Further discussion. Further announcements or introductions? Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I too have permission from the majority leader to be absent on Friday, March 9th, but I'm not going to Washington.
Okay, you are excused. Representative Eskar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have a bit of good news. You may have seen on social media we were doing a great big push to get my Pueblo County Library to win the 2018 Leslie B. Knope Award, which I've been told is strange because she apparently doesn't like libraries. But anyway, the Engaging Local Government Leaders is the one who put this on, and there was over 100 nominees for the best public library. And Pueblo County, with the help of some of you in this room, the governor and the lieutenant governor who also helped retweet this out, we won. So I'll be bringing a tribute later, but I just thought I'd announce that Pueblo County Library is officially the best public library.
Representative Michaels and Janae.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, members. Please join us tomorrow, March 6th, from 7:30 to 9 a.m. for the annual March of Dimes Legislative Coffee. Meet and celebrate Colorado practitioners working hard every day to ensure all moms and babies have the resources they need to survive and thrive. Come enjoy some coffee and snacks, meet with staff and volunteers, and learn more about how you can support healthy moms and strong babies across Colorado. Activities will be held outside the old Supreme Court, and please don't forget to wear purple. Flyers are on your desk. Thank you, members.
Further announcements or introductions, Representative Liston.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, members, after a tough day on Friday, I have some good economic news that'll cheer us all up today. The U.S. consumers remained confident in February with larger paychecks and a healthy labor market overshadowing any worries about the stock market. The University of Michigan said Friday that its consumer index was 99.7, up from 95.7. Quote, consumers base their optimism on favorable assessments due to their jobs, wages, and higher after-tax pay, said the chief economist. A separate measure tracking U.S. consumer confidence jumped in February to its highest level since November of 2000. That report also showed Americans felt better about the current state of the economy as well as their future prospects. Let's hear it for the U.S. economy.
Representative Hansen.
Thank you very much, members. Apparently we're not done here, so I have a couple more tidbits I wanted to share. Last week we got to hear this wonderful story about this super rich guy in Omaha who just got a whole bunch richer. He joins other billionaires in the country who got a giant tax windfall from this $1.5 trillion that we put onto our grandkids' credit card. But I also want to take just a moment today to talk a little bit about the myth of trickle-down economics, because we get this good news in the short term, but I think we need to recognize where this $1.5 trillion is being spent. And from our ultra-liberal folks at Morgan Stanley Investment Bank, I have this important news to share. The vast majority of the tax windfall that corporations are experiencing is going to be used for what? Is it wages? Is it new jobs? Is it investment in R&D? No, fellow members, most of the windfall is being used for buybacks of stock, making rich people just a little bit richer, and a big chunk of it is being used to help pay for mergers and acquisitions. So I'm glad that our corporations get this windfall, but let's take a really hard look at what we're spending the money on, and it's not helping the average American. Trickle-down economics has never worked, and it's not going to work in this case.
I stand by that statement, and Representative Williams, can you take that message with you to Washington, D.C. on behalf of myself and Representative Hansen? Further announcements, Madam Majority Leader Becker.
I'd like to just call a truce on the economic report for now. Just let it lay.
All right, further announcements and introductions. Representative Lundin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So I think perhaps what we should actually do is create an economics caucus and actually have a viable and meaningful conversation around some of these issues. The reality is the back and forth that we're hearing here is inconclusive. Quite frankly, I think I'm hearing potentially stretching arguments from one side of the aisle, and I would love to have a further conversation. So I offer open to the chamber, anyone who would like to join in forming an economics caucus, and we could even make it a debating society should we want to do it, to actually discuss the effects of money. And I'll leave you with one last thought. I've never in my life, although I've been an entrepreneur for most of my life, but I've never, when I was working for other people, gotten a job from someone who didn't have money.
My goodness, it's feeling like we're back to business here. Further announcements or introductions? All right, Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I think we just passed a bill on cost-benefit analysis, but I'll leave that where it is. Public Health Care and Human Services, we are not meeting today because we don't meet on Mondays, but we are also not meeting tomorrow. And so I just wanted to make sure people had their calendars ready to go. We are not meeting tomorrow. We will be meeting on Friday to catch up on the work that we couldn't get done on Tuesdays, so you can all participate in our electoral process. And we'll look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Representative Janal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And HIE will not be meeting on Friday, but we will be meeting tomorrow upon adjournment in room 107 for a DORA review, sunset review of the Nursing Home Administrators Practice Act. So tomorrow, upon adjournment, room 107, Health Insurance and Environment.
Representative Martins.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Today, House Ag, Livestock, and Natural Resources will meet at 1:30. Please pay attention. We'll meet in room 271. Room 271, because we're going to be hearing Senate Bill 2, Senate Bill 5, and House Bill 1246. Be there.
Seeing no further announcements, Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess till 1 o'clock today.
All right, seeing no objection, the House will stand in recess until 1 p.m. today.